Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my 2024 music album recap series. This is the series where I'm going through my spreadsheet of all the albums I listened to in 2024, just listing them off. At least the first part or the first portion of this series will be me just listing the albums off, and then we'll get into like charts and graphs about like all the different genres and like decades that I listened to and things like that. So there'll be a link in the description to where you can check out part one. This is part two, so we're starting. We did the first 100 albums last episode, and this episode we'll be doing the next 100 albums. So let me just pull up my spreadsheet here. I'll just go through them one at a time here. So after that, we listened to Gag Order, or I listened to Gag Order by Kesha. After that, it was the Baja sessions by Chris Isaak. Then a classic. After that was Songs for the Big Chair by Tears for Fears. That's just a classic. Some great tracks on that. After that, another classic, Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age. Probably my favorite album from them. After that, I listened to Cold Spring Harbor by Billy Joel. Followed by, let's see here, Crime Mob, just self-titled by them. It's a good hip hop album. After that, I listened to Hounds of Love by Kate Bush, followed by Pretty Hate Machine by Nine Inch Nails, followed by Texas Flood by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. Just a great kind of blues rock album. After that was The Grand Illusion by Styx. That was followed up by Sprained Ankle by Julien Baker, from Boy Genius. After that, I listened to Super Champon by Otoboke Beaver. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a Japanese kind of female punk rock band. They're very good. After that, I listened to No Burden by Lucy Dacus. That was followed by West Coast Town by Chris Shiflett, obviously for the Foo Fighters. And this is, I think, his first solo album, maybe. This was more in the vein of country. It's really good. I highly recommend checking that one out. After that was Cracked Rear View by Hootie and the Blowfish. Then I listened to The Supremes, A Go-Go by The Supremes. That was followed by Forever by the Spice Girls. That was actually the first time I listened to that one. That was their final album, and that was without Jerry Halliwell. I think they basically, it was a four-piece band at that point, because Jerry left kind of like sometime in like 1998. This came out in 2000. After that, I listened to Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest. That's a classic. It's got the like Electric Eye out there. That's a great track, as well as You've Got Another Thing Coming. After that was The Color and the Shape by Foo Fighters, one of their best. Followed by All Rise by Naked Raygun. After that, I followed that up with Our Time in Eden by 10,000 Maniacs. Then I listened to Copperhead Road by Steve Earle, just a great outlaw country album. That was followed by Turn Blue by the Black Keys. Then Come Away With Me by Norah Jones. I listened to Volume 2 by the Ink Spots. After that, a punk classic in Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables by Dead Kennedys. It's an iconic album there. Followed by Stormfront by Billy Joel. Then Stranger in the Alps by Phoebe Bridgers. I think that is her first album, I think. Because the one I really liked was Punisher, but I think this was prior to that, maybe. I could be mistaken on the release order. After that was Black Love by the Afghan Wigs, followed by the Slim Shady LP by Eminem. Forget About It by Alison Krauss, some like bluegrass there. Then Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Might be my second favorite album from them. I definitely put Blood Sugar Sex Magic first, and then probably this one here. Then we had August and Everything After by Counting Crows, followed by Illmatic by Nas. That's a hip-hop classic. I recently covered that on my new Essential Album series. After that was Master of Puppets by Metallica, just a heavy metal classic album there. That was followed by Probot, self-titled, which is a side project by Dave Grohl, and it's kind of like his death metal kind of band. There's like some guest artists on there, like Lemmy from Motorhead is on that album as well. After that, I listened to Ultra Violence by Lana Del Rey. That was also recently covered on my new Essential Album series. Might be my second favorite album from her. Maybe third. I think I maybe go NFR first, then either Ultraviolence or Born to Die. And kind of like Ultraviolence and Born to Die kind of trade places between second and third on my list of her best albums, I think. After that, I listened to No Secrets by Carly Simon. Then City to City by Jerry Rafferty. It's a great one. It's got Right Down the Line on it. After that was Rocket to Russia by the Ramones. Just punk rock classic there. Then One by One by Foo Fighters. After that was And Out Come the Wolves by Rancid. Followed by Van Halen, self-titled. After that was Beautiful Garbage by Garbage. That's their third studio album. Then Black Sabbath's Master of Reality. There's Talking Heads up next. Talking Heads 77. After that, we move into Eight Arms to Hold You by Veruca Salt. After that, we have, what's this here? The Donnas with Spend the Night. Let me scroll down a little bit. Following that was Enema of the State by Blink-182. Just a great kind of punk album there. Then we have Megadeth's Countdown to Extinction. Followed by Embrya by Maxwell. Then another Chris Shiflett album here with Hard Lessons. Came out, I think, after West Coast Town, I think a couple years later. Then following that is Whip Smart by Liz Phair. Tracy Chapman's self-titled album. Then we have This Fire by Paula Cole. Madonna self-titled. Actually, had back-to-back Madonna albums here. So I generally didn't do a lot of back-to-back albums on this list. I think there was one last time, but I think it was Duke Ellington. But after seeing the Madonna concert last year, I listened to that night. I listened to Madonna self-titled, and which I had heard before, and then I followed that up with Confessions on a Dance Floor from 2005, one of her best albums, and one that I hadn't heard up until that point. After that, more Foo Fighters with Concrete and Gold. Then Nine Inch Nails, another Nine Inch Nails album with Teeth. Was followed up by Whitney Houston. Then Thriller by Michael Jackson, just an iconic classic pop album there. Next was Nashville Skyline by Bob Dylan. That's a very short but very good Bob Dylan record. Another Foo Fighters record with Sonic Highways. One of their most underrated albums in my opinion. I think it had the kind of misfortune of coming out right after Wasting Light, which is one of their best albums. So I feel like whatever album came out after Wasting Light was going to, it was a tough act to follow. So, but I think Sonic Highways is highly underrated in my opinion. After that, I listened to The Innocents by Erasure, another Foo Fighter record here with In Your Honor. You tell I like the Foo Fighters, right? So In Your Honor by the Foo Fighters, followed by Physical by Olivia Newton-John. Then moving into some Rush with Moving Pictures, just a classic there. YYZ and Tom Sawyer are on that. Then Core by Stone Temple Pilots, which we recently, I haven't covered that one yet. But that will be coming up in my 1990s series, so that was some STP. After that, we have, what do we have here? The Power of Love by Charlie Pride, followed by the Dog Pound's album, Dog Food. Remember having that in high school. I think I sold it to a friend of mine, but it's a pretty good album. After that, another Madonna album with Bedtime Stories. Then Britney Spears' Baby One More Time, followed by Nothing Shocking by Jane's Addiction. Let me just scroll down a little bit more. Recently covered that on the Essential Album Series 2, or the new one. Following that up with Garbage's self-titled debut from 1995. Then was Cowboy Carter by Beyonce. That was probably right around the time that album came out. Next up was Nevermind by Nirvana, just an absolute grunge classic. Just classic album there. Next up was Daydream by Mariah Carey. Then I listened to Confessions by Usher. Next up was Enema by Tool. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. After that was Mobile Estates by Citizen King. And then Chromatica by Lady Gaga. After that, there was Color Me Country by Linda Martell, which kind of links back to Cowboy Carter because she shows up in some of the interstitial bits on that album. That was followed up by another Queens of the Stone Age, In Times New Roman, so her most recent album there. What have we got here? We have Viva Death, 1% Panic, which I believe is a side project band from Chris Shiflett of the Foo Fighters. Next up was Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue. Then Supreme by Vassy. Hail Satin by the DGs, which is basically the Foo Fighters in disco persona of the Foo Fighters, if you will. After that was Ramblin' Gamblin' Man by Bob Seger. Then follow that up with the James Gang, so James Gang Rides Again. Next up was On Avery Island by Neutral Milk Hotel. I think I like In the Airplane Over the Sea more, but On Avery Island is also really good. After that was Facelift by Alice in Chains. And then Ritual de la Habitual by Jane's Addiction. I think probably my favorite Jane's Addiction album is that one. Nothing Shocking is really good, but I think I like Ritual de la Habitual Ritual de la Habitual a little bit more. After that, I listened to One of the Boys by Katy Perry. That's kind of a classic. I kind of actually sometimes think that one is better than Teenage Dream, but I like Teenage Dream and One of the Boys kind of occupy the #1 spot for my Katy Perry rankings. They kind of trade positions every once in a while. Anyhow, after that, I listened to Can't Get Enough by Barry White, followed by Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. I think that was Got Tangled Up in Blue. That's a really good one. Then I have Beauty and the Beat by the Go-Go's, followed by Guitar Noir by the Aqua Velvets, Bangers by Miley Cyrus, and then Skin and Bones by Foo Fighters. So they're like acoustic live album. It's really good. And finally, Bad by Michael Jackson. So that is basically the next 100 albums that I listened to in that series. I'll leave a link in the description to check out the first part of the series, as well as leaving all the albums from this video in the description. So then we'll be, again, these are going up on Wednesdays. We'll be back in a week from now on the Wednesday after with the next 100 albums. And we'll continue doing this until we get through all the albums. I think it'll be like a 11, maybe 12-part series on that part. And then we'll get into the breakdowns of all the different decades that were covered, the genres, which albums were new to me, which albums weren't new, and so on. But that'll be at the end after we get through all these other albums. So that is going to do it for now. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.